श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So very happy to be here in our BYS once again. All the wonderful devotees. It's always a festival to meet. Hare Bol. And the big-hearted, large-hearted, you know, magnanimous-hearted Devaprasanna. Jagannath-hearted. So let's offer prayers to Lord Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So, on the instruction of His Grace Prabhupada Prabhu, we are beginning to read from this section of Lord Kapila Dev. This is primarily third canto, chapter 25 to chapter 33. So, the section actually begins in chapter 21. If you see the pre-Kapila Dev section, where like how Kardamamani's description is there, then Devhuti and Swayambhu Manu. And then how Sambhu Manu and his wife they they propose their daughter's hand in marriage to Kardama Muni, and how Kardama Muni's description is that he wanted to marry someone, so that was one desire he had, and so Lord arranged because he was a devotee. So Lord arranged the marriage in such a way that it leads to betterment of devotional service of Kardama Muni, Devahuti, as well as benefit of the world. So, so Lord is not against anyone's material desire, but rather He facilitates it in such a way for a sincere devotee. He facilitates it in a such a way that it is a win-win-win for everyone. And there is a description in one chapter about the beautiful character of Devahuti in 23rd chapter. So in that chapter, Prabhupada writes how in like several of the verses, Prabhupada says how this is how disciples should be. So three personalities are considered synonymous in the Vedic scriptures as far as the attitudes and qualities are concerned. One is a student to a teacher, another is disciple to a spiritual master, and the third is wife to a husband. So if one replaces in that chapter Devahuti with oneself or disciple and Kardama with guru, then all the attitudes, all the sentences actually apply to. So, therefore, in the Indian Vedic culture, there is a great deal of learning from the the ideal chaste wives, the traditional wives, because the traditional wives of husbands, of glorious husbands, they had those attributes. They had those what do you call it, like uh, traits, traits. They had those traits of behavior, and they had those attributes, those qualities, which are actually exactly what is needed for any good disciple to succeed in his spiritual life. So husband is called as pati, and Lord is also called as pati, and actually spiritual master is also called as pati, master, meaning in all sense. So after this description of Devahuti's qualities, there is a description of the marriage of, like, married life of Devahuti and Lord and Kardama Muni. So Kardama Muni was performing so many austerities, and he was like a typical yogi doing bhakti, but typical yogi. And Devahuti for decades had to just serve him, extending herself, and she got emaciated. Her body lost all the refined, like, symptoms in her body. She lost everything because she had to extend for years and years and years. And it is said that she didn't even like once request or complain to her father or to her husband. But she saw herself as an assistant, um, as a second half, what do you call, better half of this personality Kardaman. And Prabhupada writes there beautiful things about like how wife or a brahmachari or a disciple should assist Guru and should not care for oneself. But then when Guru is pleased, or when such a husband is pleased, then he bestows and showers great blessings on such a wife, such a disciple. So this truth comes in Srimad Bhagavatam time and again in so many cantos. So you find here in third canto. Then you will find the similar thing in sixth canto. Uh, sorry, eighth canto, where the Shukracharya was pleased with the demons and Brihaspati was offended by demigods. And so entire political change happened in heavenly planets. The entire fight happened, the war happened between demons and demigods. But demigods, despite being very dear to the Lord, despite being very qualified, lost the battle because they had offended their spiritual master, and hence their strength was lessened. Demons, on the other hand, followed the same principle, and they pleased their spiritual master, and thus were bestowed with unmatchable strength. So this principle, similarly in sixth canto also, the same principle is exhibited uh, in the relationship between Diti and Kashyapa. So Diti wanted to kill Indra, and she was against the demigods and Krishna. But she specifically felt that it was because of Indra that the Lord took avatar as Narsimha, the Lord took avatar as Vamana, and sorry, Varaha, and he killed her sons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So Diti was in mood of revenge. So Diti wanted to kill Indra, but how can a simple lady kill Indra? So then Diti understands that I cannot, but my husband can. He's very powerful. But then he won't do it because he's very virtuous and he's a saintly guy and he's like demigod types. And demigods were also his sons from Aditi. And demons were his sons from Aditi. So now Diti was somehow or other she wanted to have Indra punished, have Indra killed. So Diti begins to uh, please Kashyapa in such wonderful ways. She's like always submissive to Kashyapa, glorifying, speaking sweet words, making different dishes, and in so many ways, totally ideal. So in India, there's a saying in Hindi that I'll first say it in English. When everything seems to be ideal, there must be something very fishy. So in Hindi, there are a couple of sayings with this. Chor ki dadi mein tinka. Somebody is acting too ideal. He must be a thief. And but something will be there. Something. something will stand out. And another saying is, दाल में कुछ तो काला है. Like, the entire dal is like, something is like something you can see, oh, this is one problem. So something must be there, like behind, I don't know how to explain, the sayings are they're not something. So anyway, Kashyapa actually could not recognize it. That is a power of illusion of women. So when women especially render service to men, then the man gets sold out because a woman speaks very sweet words, and the women and kids, they're very soft actually, physically also, and in their behavior. But a woman's heart can be as sharp as a razor's edge. This is exactly what is given in Bhagavatam. I mean, I happen to agree with Bhagavatam, but I'm just sharing. These are words exactly from Bhagavatam. So, and Prabhupada asked this to Yamuna Mataji once. You know, so Yamuna, is it correct about women? Yamuna just stared at Prabhupada like for 10, 15 seconds. And then she said, yes, Prabhupada, actually, women can do that. Of course, Prabhupada said devotee women are different. But man or woman, it's the same thing. But the idea is that Kashyapa could not figure out that Diti had this nefarious plans behind. Just like Dashrath in Ramayana also, Dashrath Maharaj, out of his bodily attachment to his wife, or even in Dhruv Maharaj, like in fourth canto, Uttanapad also was so much attached to Suruchi, his wife, just like Dashrath was attached to Keki. And so they had given this Vardhans or whatever, like, if you say something, I'll follow. And you know what all tragedies happened in Dhruva and Lord Ramachandra's case. So Kashyapa did not had not learned his lessons from the Shastras. So he had to experience it. And so he agreed with, not agreed, he actually benedicted Diti with a uh, with an open-ended benedict promise, like, you ask anything, I'll fulfill. And Diti had been doing all that stuff only for this day. And again, Diti was very self-controlled. Huh? She said, so are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm sure. And the moment he did that, Diti's gear totally changed. She said, now I want Indra to be killed. I want to have such power. So you give me such power. And Kashyap was like, oh my God, what have I done? And right in front of Diti, he begins to address the Supreme Lord. How powerful is your illusory potency that even a person like me, who's father of demigods, who's so learned, vastly learned in Shastras, who teaches to disciples, got carried away in illusion. And I forgot this is a lady who is not a pure devotee. And the nature of the lady, and then he speaks about the nature of the lady. This also comes in various cantos in Bhagavatam. The ninth canto also, Urvashi herself speaks. So, despite all this, because he had already given a promise, a word, so he stood by it. But he was very intelligent. So, Krishna Bhakt Bada Chatur. So, he thought, okay, I will honestly give her the power, the process to get the power to kill Indra. But I will I will give her the process to attain that power in such a way that the process itself will purify her. So devotional service is so powerful that actually when one conquers Krishna, to get some material power is a very small thing. It's a side thing. So then Kashyapa intelligently gives Diti process of devotional service in the form of lot of rituals and rules, regulations, rituals. So that process is called as Payovrata process. And that process was so tough, not tough in the sense of like you have to lift some trucks or something like that, not like that. But like you have to wash hands before doing this, and offer prayer before doing that, and clean the. It's like so many rules and regulations. I mean, you get sometimes there are some terms and conditions, no? like 20 pages. Usually, what people do, just go below and agree. Because we hardly have anything to lose, What will you take from me? Oh, corporate or whatever, What will you take from me? I have nothing. But for a guy who's loaded with something, he has to be serious about terms and conditions. He has to seriously see like what is it, So So she didn't bother about. She was just like, I just want to kill him. You give me the. And she knew that this guy has integrity. If he has promised, he'll give the power. So he gives her a complicated process of devotional service, but devotional service to Krishna. And while she was in the process ahead, like several months, she was very nicely following it. But there was one small glitch from her side, just once. Just she forgot to wash her feet or her hands. Just like it's hardly a glitch also actually. But then that gave Indra the room for because Indra was also concerned about his own security. And then the story flows ahead how Indra actually enters her womb and tries to kill the child who was meant to kill him for that. But the child came out to be invincible. The more he was cutting the child in the womb, the more child was getting multiplied into many children. So it became like 49 kids from one kid. And Indra was worrying, my God, I had problems. But eventually they became his friends, actually, his brothers. And she also started calling Indra as son. And she said, now I've forgotten all those enmity because nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord. So if that time something happened to my sons, that was because of the Lord. And Lord is the greatest well-wisher of everyone. So you are also like my son. And seeing her heart transformation, Indra also got transformed. Now, this was genius, something really genius from the side of Kashyapa. But otherwise, the lesson learned in that episode is also that one should not get carried away by a woman's association. Now, coming back to Kapila's section. So, what happens in that chapter before this is that Devahuti was, despite getting such a husband, such a spiritually glorious and advanced husband, Devahuti was totally focused on, I want kids and I want material gratification. So Prabhupada writes, this is the nature of a woman. So therefore, it is a duty of the husband to balance it and not fall prey to woman's pullings and pushings. Prabhupada writes similar thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita about mother and father of Raghunath Das Goswami. Prabhupada says they were pious materialists. Prabhupada says in the garb of devotees, they were actually proper materialists. They used to chant 16 rounds. Because Prabhupada doesn't say 16 rounds, but he says like they were proper Vaishnavas. But then their goal of life was materialistic. So the mother of Raghunath Goswami was trying to capture him by the shackles of sex life and property and wealth and all. But then he was too much attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he got mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. You know the story. So he goes. But there Prabhupada writes a lot of comment about like because the mother was still the father actually lost and interest at one point of time, but the mother was still interested. No, how to get him back? The husband had to chastise her. But don't you understand? Once somebody is attracted to Lord Chaitanya, what these things will attract him? She said, "Come on, the girl whom we got for our son is the most beautiful girl on the planet." He said, what planet? We're talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in many places, this truth comes actually. So now come, let us see what Kardama Muni did. When Devahuti was focused upon getting son or like children, and she was focused upon getting material son gratification. So he gave her 10 kids. So the first 9 were daughters, and the last one was son, this Kapila Dev. This is the chapter which we are beginning, chapter 25, where Kapila Dev actually gets, like he appears. And before this, he gave her a lot of sense gratification. So he creates a palatial mansion with lakes and gardens. And I mean, the description is way beyond America. America is not even a dust of the lotus feet of that mansion. America is greatest on the planet today, but I'm saying the kind of description which is there is just super heavenly actually. Now, how could he do that? Because he had got so much of powers. See, being a pure devotee, siddhis or mystic siddhis are nothing actually. So when Krishna can bestow prema, why can't he bestow the lower things? So all the things in this world, whether it is wealth or powers or name and fame or any such mystics potencies, they're actually considered lower. They're not considered higher. Often, even a practicing devotee thinks they are more fancy or higher. Or the greatest thing in this world is prema because it actually satisfies the heart of the conditioned soul. And it even satisfies the Supreme Lord, what to say of Jiva. Supreme Lord has everything, but is still looking for one thing, which is prema. Prema out of free will of the Jiva. So, so actually, Kardama Muni gives a lot of sense gratification. Prabhupada says it was like lifetime of honeymoon. And he had got so much powers that he brought Devoti, he put Devoti in one lake. Okay. And when she took bath in that lake, na, she got back her youthful luster even more than what she ever had in her teenage. And see how beautiful she was when she used to play with kites, okay, on the rooftop of her father's home. So demigods going traveling in the airplanes, okay, they used to fall from their airplanes. There is a description in 10th canto about Rukmini's beauty, another Rukmini's beauty. So the kings who used to like come getting attracted to her, they used to fall off their chariots looking at her beauty. They used to get stunned. Like in America, this cops use a stun gun. So so the description is very beautiful. Similar description is in Ramayana of Mother Sita. You know, that they used to lose their in Hindi they say hosho hawas kho dena. So I don't know if there is an equivalent in English, but something like you lose all your क्या बोलेंगे? What do I say? Okay, you just become unconscious kind of. You just get stunned. I think that's the closest thing to it. So parallel, like similar descriptions everywhere. So Devoti was that beautiful. Now Kardama made her even more beautiful with his yogic powers. And he gave her like silk clothing and pearls and jewels and Bhagavatam says lakhs of millions of servants, maid servants. I don't know like how it's just actually there was a city itself, what he created in the clouds. In the clouds he created this city. And in that he gave her material sense gratification till the time she wanted. All the great foodstuffs, music, great environment, lakes, sex life, everything. Now, this went on for like centuries, okay, because that was Satyuga. And even at the end of it, they both were not satisfied. Now, Kardama Muni's source of satisfaction was anyways not this. So he said, now I have given you a son. He is going to say in this chapter. So once you get a son, so son represents the husband, you know. And now I think I'm done also with all this. So I'm moving away. So Prabhupada is raising a question. Arey, this guy got a son who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if Supreme Personality of Godhead takes birth in your home, do you walk out? Saying that now I'm renouncing everything. Prabhupada says this was Kardama Muni's way of teaching all of us that how vital is the order of renunciation in life. That sooner or later, one must come to that order. Whether you come through brahmachari life or you come through grahastha life. You look for that. That is the goal of life. But then renouncing itself is not perfect unless it is done in devotion. So, as Krishna also says in 10th canto, himself to Yagyapatnis, that it is not by physical proximity that I am attained. I am attained when with one's heart and soul, with one's body, mind, and senses, one actually performs pure devotional service. And that can be done anywhere and everywhere. And look at ISV, Vaishika Maharaj has created a Vrindavan here, so far away. Right? So, so Kardamuni teaches that example by renouncing even when Krishna himself appeared as Kapila there in his home. But what happened to Devavati? So Devavati saw her husband going, leaving. Now Devavati realizes, Arey, I spent my lifetime with material sense gratification. I was so foolish actually. I should have done bhakti. Not bhakti. She just says that I did not get satisfied, even after a lifetime of sense gratification. And second realization she has is, I had such a powerful husband. I mean, I was so fortunate that I had a spiritually advanced husband. It's like in Hindi they say "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar." Like what it means is, of course, it's not a good meaning for Vaishnavas, but still does the job. So I'll share. It's like if you own a if you own a poultry shop, like a chicken shop, then you don't feel chicken is a very like feast item. So it's like if it is easily available, then you take it cheaply. That's the idea. Even though the item may be very good. So similarly, if we have very close physical association of some great soul, we actually take it cheaply. And then when we lose that opportunity, we actually look back. Like many Prabhupada disciples had this realization when Prabhupada left the planet. I could have chanted more rounds. I could have served Prabhupada more. I could have distributed more books. I could have built temples for Prabhupada. I could have extended myself. I could have shed off my false ego, and I could have you know, I could have been like a very malleable instrument in the hands of Srila Prabhupada and served his mission. But I mean, now that Prabhupada is gone, there was one disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Bon Maharaj. So he was the one whom Saraswati Thakur sent to London for preaching with in pre-independent, pre-British era, with so much of expenses, done by Matha and empowering him with so much hope. But he goes to London, tries for a few months, comes back, and right at the airport, Saraswati Thakur, his spiritual master, Acharya, came to receive him. He was just brimming with joy that he would be bringing great news that Krishna has spread, because there was no WhatsApp and even phone that time. And what does he say? He says, Guru Maharaj, your process does not work. It is working only in India and Bengal. There it does not work. Nobody become. Instead of thinking that, I could not do it, or probably there is better way to do it, he actually says such a thing. So Guru Maharaj was very upset. And of course, later on, we know Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada did it. That's why he's called as Namaste Saraswati Devi. He's the most worshipable disciple of Saraswati Thakur. But Bon Maharaj later on, see that time he had whatever his mind got carried away. But later on in his life, he had this thing like that I want to beg forgiveness from my Guru Maharaj, and I want to make amends. I want to rectify by doing something for him. But for some time, Saraswati Thakur did not speak to him, and he also didn't have the courage or whatever. He didn't have that much desire that time. Don't know what was the case, but he couldn't speak to Saraswati Thakur. And by the time he mustered the courage to go and approach his spiritual master left the planet. And can you imagine living the rest of your life? Actually, he was a sincere soul. Otherwise, why would Saraswati Thakur select him out of everyone else? But sometimes, things happen. So, can you imagine living the rest of your life with that? First of all, being known in amongst other disciples as kind of someone who uh, was not in sync with the spiritual master. And on the top of that, that I've heard the spiritual master, and now you cannot even approach him unless he's not there physically around. And you have to live the rest of your life with that thing in your mind. Of course, we try to live a better life, but so Devavati had that lamentation. I had such a great husband, and I had him right here. And I used him for self gratification. While he, and there is a statement, there is a verse in which Kardamuni says, if you wish, because you have pleased me by assisting me in my spiritual life, you have emaciated your body, never bothered about any of your interests. So now, as a blessing or as a reciprocation, I can give you anything. If you want spiritual enlightenment, I can give you. You want spiritual perfection, I can give you. You don't have to do anything separately, no sadhana. And if you want anything else, I will give you. And she was immediate. No, I want kids and I want self-gratification. Prabhupada writes there, this is called foolishness of living entity. When you are able to get such a great benediction, so one Acharya says that it is like using Shaligram Shila as a paperweight. So you got Shaligram Shila and you use it for paperweight. Like, you know. While you can attain perfection through the Shaligram Shila. Or it's like treating a Vaishnava only as a institutional managerial authority or looking at him like that, instead of taking advantage of his spiritual. His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj says that outside ISKCON Guru's office or room, there should be a board. Please contact me for, he says, top, like series of things. So he says the topmost should be marriage issues. And then he says, quarrels with devotees. And then he says, like all, he says like material desire, this and that, blessings for the business, this, that. And he says in the bottom, right at the bottom of the list, there should be a smallest font thing, spiritual inquiry. So he says actually it should be opposite. And it should be rather the only thing. But he says nowadays people just come, for so many things. Like, so he says actually devotees should be most interested in that. How to associate with the Vaishnava. So Devahuti felt that actually. That I had that good opportunity, but I lost it. I never used it for the right thing. But now she also realized one more thing, that I still have one opportunity. This Kapila thing, my son. And because he's my son, I mean, he'll agree to help me out. So if you have noticed, Prabhupada always writes, wherever he says Lord Kapila there, he adds the son of Mother Devoti. So, of course, the primary reason Prabhupada does that is because there was another Kapila Dev very famous in India, not the cricketer, but there was another saint who gave her like impersonal philosophy actually. So, in order to distinguish him from like this, our Kapila Dev, Prabhupada just adds everywhere. Lord Kapila Dev, the son of Mother Devoti. But in that way, he is also glorifying, this entire series of chapters. So now this was the background. This was just the background of the beginning. I hope it's okay. It's understandable. Yes. So you know what happened. So now in this chapter, what we're going to begin, chapter 25, Lord Kapila will be appearing, and then there will be some glorification of Kapila Dev. And then Devahuti will approach Kapila Dev. This is another amazing lesson. Devahuti will approach Kapila Dev not as a mother approaching the son, but as a sincere seeker approaching a spiritual person, because she'd already learned her lesson, right, with husband. So she now understands that he might be my son, this Kapila, but I must approach as a sincere spiritual seeker. Only thing was that what she was seeking was simply cessation of her frustrations. She was not seeking devotion. She was not seeking prema. She was not even seeking spiritual world. She was not even seeking, she didn't even name Krishna or the Supreme Lord. She just said, I am frustrated. I tried all that honeymoon stuff and all. I tried all the heavenly pleasures and comforts. Somehow I'm not satisfied. So you tell me the path to liberation. That's what she asked for. You show me the path to liberation. Then Kapila Dev says, now this is one of the top one of the topmost famous verses of entire Bhagavatam, all 12 cantos. The first, this one particular verse, the verse number is 3:20:25. I mean 3:25:25. Sorry, yeah, in this chapter. So I think it is 3:25. Let me confirm. Yeah, Tadam Prasannam. So this verse is celebrated as like one of the most revealing verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this was in one of the initial instructions of Kapila Dev to Mother Devati, which led Devati to change her question itself. So her question was, just show me the path to liberation, because I have got frustrated with attempts to satisfy myself through material satisfaction gratification. And Kapila Dev says, okay, mother, let me give you that path. So in that verse, he says, the first half of the verse, he says path to liberation. You know, that is bhakti only, the association of devotees. But he says, don't stop at liberation. If you try to attain liberation through the general path, you will attain only liberation. But if you associate with devotees, you know, this path will not only take you to liberation, it won't stop there. It will easily take you to liberation. You know, and it will take you ahead. It will take you to bhava, ruchi, prema, and it will totally satisfy your heart forever in love with Krishna. And then that interests Devahuti even more. And from there, then he further begins explaining the process of devotion service. So, of course, Kapila Dev, you know, um, his mission itself was to teach philosophy and to teach the path of detachment through Bhakti Yoga. So it's very philosophical, actually. You know, I must declare it at the outset. Devotees should not expect a very sweet journey. This feast is more about Karela and all the other such items. And in middle some maple syrup or something may come. Once in a while some sandesh may come. But in general, this is going to be more like a purifying. But it is very enlightening if you understand the purpose. Like, okay, the doctor is giving you bitter medicine, but if you know, okay, this is going to lead me to a very great state of health, right? So then you are happy to go through that. It's a welcome thing. Hare Krishna. So any comments or questions still here before we get into?
Few questions. One is, are we given bhakti? And if so, is our goal to have one desire to love Krishna, or is that like what are we trying to do exactly? Are we trying to love Krishna or have a desire to love Krishna that will be given to us to love him?
Okay. Yeah. So, Prabhu, we already love Krishna. It's just covered over. It's like you have $10 million in your bank account. You just have you just you just lost access to it.
Mm.
Maybe your card got uh, debarred and you lost your checkbook or whatever way you do here in America. But so that money is still yours. Yet you are a poor man right now because you don't have access to it. So sadhana bhakti is equivalent to a process of application in the bank to regain the access. And prema is that amount which you already have. Is there, is reserved in your name. It won't deplete. You just need to get back the access. So sadhana bhakti is a process of gaining back that access. Okay. Does it make sense?
So, so is it, you say we're trying to gain back the desire?
Right. Not desire, the love itself. Oh yeah, desire to serve, you can say. Desire to please Krishna. But love is already there. Yeah. So we come here because we somehow misuse the free will given by the Lord. So we were not sinful back in the spiritual world. But because Krishna loves us more than we love him, so he offered us free will on our own. Like And sometimes even while we are totally satisfied, there is a tendency to try something new.
Huh.
Curiosity killed the cat. Heard of it?
Wow.
Yeah. So like that. So we were just curious, maybe I want to try. We were actually quite satisfied. But we just were looking outside the window.
Oh, just
And yeah, just curiosity. Yeah. So maybe you can say an add-on or something. So sometimes kids tend to do that, as if like I'm not happy with my parents, they're always setting rules and all this. Actually, he's satisfied, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't realize it yet. And the grass looks greener on the other side. So he thinks, let me leave my home or let me go to some hostel or something, and then I'll be happy. And so lo and behold, when he goes out, actually he realizes that he was better off, but now he's stuck. Now he has to go back. So sadhana bhakti is that process of going back. You still are valued, loved in the spiritual world. Your place is reserved. Your room is reserved or whatever. Everything is there. And actually, when the jiva returns back to spiritual world, it is explained by Sanatana Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatamrita through the example of this guy, Gopakumar. So when he returns back to the spiritual world, Krishna actually throws a party. Yeah, Krishna holds a festival. Hey, my friend has returned back. Krishna cries tears. Where did you go, Gopakumar? I've been looking for you. As if Krishna is playing innocent. Gopal, I unnecessarily went. I suffered like anything. Krishna was so, Krishna, why? Why to go and we were missing you? Then Krishna takes him personally, you've seen that picture where Krishna dresses. That's the story. And, and Krishna puts his hand on his shoulder and personally takes him to all the meadows of Vrindavan and they have games and all because he was his cowherd boyfriend. And then he takes him in the evening, he takes him to Nanda Bhavan, his own home. And Krishna, the moment he enters the courtyard, he calls out to his mother, Maya, oh Yashoda Maya, look, today is a festival. Today should be a grand festival. So mother says, why? My dear friend has returned back after so long and he's tired and he didn't have a good time. you know so today please prepare item this, item that, item this, item that, because my friend Gokumar loves these items. I remember earlier he used to relish these particular items, and Gokumar is in tears. Krishna, I left you, looking out of the window. And you love me so much. You value in that world, nobody valued me. Everybody was selfish. And here, even though I left you, you still love me so much. And then Gopkumar is like, no, I'm never going anywhere again. So it just we misuse our free will. Now, should parents make us a robo, or should they put us in a like prison chamber or something like that? Where we're not allowed to misuse our free will. But then that won't be love, right? That won't inspire us to use our free will to love them back, because love means freedom. And that's what Krishna does. He gives that to us. Even Arjuna, Krishna says, after speaking the entire Gita, "Yatechasi tatha kuru." You do what you'd like to do. I would want you to choose to love me and be on the path of dharma, but I won't force it upon you. I would never enforce it. You choose. So Prabhupada explains in one place, the living entity has to choose, the devotee has to choose out of his own free will to offer his free will to Krishna. Am I able to explain?
Yeah, is the free will that we have who we serve?
Sorry.
Is the free will that we have
Yeah.
we choose to serve?
Right. So we want to desire to make Krishna's desire our desire. And that is bhakti. Like Prabhupada wanted books to be distributed. And Vaishika Maharaj is, I want to fulfill Prabhupada's desire. That's my desire. That's called Shuddha Bhakti. So it's not enforced, right? Did Prabhupada force? No. Is Maharaj forcing? No. So when we use our free will to love Krishna, now Initially, it may not be that easy because we have our material lust, anger, pride, greed, all that. Let's call them noise. You know, it's like there is a signal and there is noise. So these are noises. But when you're focused on the signal part, even though the noises do exist, you know, so it might be really tough, but you can still hear the sound which the signal is giving you. Okay. And as you go on doing that, the good thing in the spiritual process is the signals will, sorry, the noise will start fading. You know, and as you attain your true original nature, it's like cleansing of a utensil. So after cooking, if you leave the utensils, especially for a long time, it's hard to remove that stuff, right? Like rice or something. You know? If you immediately clean, it's very easy. But in our case also, since lifetimes, since time immemorial, we have been like holding on to all this dirt in the utensils of our heart. So now like you have to really like work hard. But then as we do that, they will shine back those utensils and we'll be able to see the true self, like as a mirror. Na? It's like purpose is example, Chetodarapanam, and like cleansing the dust of mirror. See, America is quite clean, but in India, very soon you get dust everywhere, like layers of dust. It's hot country also. So in the on the mirror, when there is a layer of dust accumulated, you just have to wipe it off, right? When you do that, you can see yourself again. Prabhupada says one more thing, interesting thing in one purport. Prabhupada says you cannot see yourself in the mirror unless sunlight is there. See, of course, don't say this example because this is coming from Bhagavatam, no? So old times. So if it is dark, then even though the mirror is clean, I cannot see myself. So what is mirror? That's our mind. What is seeing myself? Self-realization. Who am I? What is the presence of sun? God realization. So when you have God realization, self-realization will automatically follow. And without God realization, there is no question of true self-realization. You might have clarity in the mirror. Like that means you don't have anarthas. You don't have like lust, anger, pride. That is a path of impersonalists. They don't have God in picture. And so that so-called realization of self they get is actually illusory. Yes, their mind is clear. They're not doing sinful activities. But they still don't have a clear picture of their own identity. Because there is no sun. Without sunlight or without an external source of light, can you actually see yourself in the mirror? You can't, because it is only when that light reflects, you know, from the mirror, you know, that you are able to look at yourself. But then, so without God realization, there is no question of self-realization. And therefore, Prabhu, sadhana bhakti means there are disturbances and noises from our heart, and yet we focus on the main signal. Prabhupada gives another example that you keep drinking sugarcane juice when you've got uh, what is that disease? Jaundice. Jaundice, yeah. So despite the bitterness which is experienced, you keep drinking the sugarcane juice, and yes, very soon it will free you from the disease, and that will be symptomized by no more bitterness. So then these noises will fade away within this same lifetime. Like there was a time, you know, I was not a great fan of morning chanting or chanting per se. But now, you know, by Krishna's blessing, I love it. That's the best part of the day. Just sit down and chant. You attend Mangalarti, you know. Yesterday night, I was thinking, I don't know whether I'll be able to get up, you know, and because like you sleep at 11 o'clock and then, you know, after like not sleeping for a night. So I was not sure. And I was even wondering, should I keep alarm or not? But then because we have got good training by, you know, Grace and Guru and Gauranga, so kept the alarm. But I kept the alarm at the last moment, like 4 a.m. Ideally like 3:45, right? But then, you know, Paramatma is so wonderful because if you've got some sincerity of the desire, I've seen so many times, and I forget to keep alarm or something, but Paramatma wakes you up. And he woke me up. Body was tired, but he woke me up. He, matlab, we have to take things as Lord's arrangement only, you know. Yes. So actually, we have to just focus on the signal, and Krishna will help us tolerate the noise. and you go on tolerating the noise for this lifetime. In the end, he'll give you Amritam. Yeah. This is there at 2.15 in the Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember the verse, but 2.14 talks about you tolerate the dualities of this world and you go on practicing bhakti. And 2.15 is you'll get Amritam. Just like 8th canto, Samudra Manthan. So I'm coming from Prayagraj, so that Kumbha story, the Amritam fell there, right? Yeah. So that similar instruction in 8th canto Vishnu gives to demigods that do not get carried away with halahal or do not get carried away with all the opulences coming. So up or down, this material world will take you through all these waves. Sometimes um, attraction and sometimes frustrations. Sometimes success, sometimes defeat. But don't get carried away with all this. Focus on Amritam, nectar in the end.
Practically speaking, when we say sadhana, should we try to do a variety of things, just stick with maybe chanting and reading the Lord?
No. Sadhana means anything which makes you Krishna conscious.
Okay,
So the primary way of becoming Krishna conscious in the age of Kali Yuga is to chant Hare Krishna, chant holy names of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically gave us the Hare Krishna mantra. And Prabhupada then in 1968, I believe, 68 or 69, constituted this prawning program the way we have today. It was not that Prabhupada right from day one. Prabhupada's conception of ISKCON devotees sadhana program evolved, seeing the challenges of Kali Yuga souls. So Prabhupada assumed in the beginning that devotees will just get up in the morning and but then they were not doing that. So then Prabhupada made it institutionalized. He institutionalized. No, every ISKCON devotee should, as far as possible, get up early in the morning. Prabhupada said, uh, like 4 a.m. Prabhupada writes in many places, 4 a.m. And then they should, Prabhupada writes that should take bath, put on tilak, dhoti kurta, and take part in Mangal Artik. 4:30 a.m. Prabhupada says.
So that was the question I was asking. So the Acharya has the authority to change the previous Acharya.
Right. Change not in principle, but in the form to suit the current time, place, circumstances, and people. Yeah, like Prabhupada gave freedom to uh, offer dresses and bhoga to the deities as per the local culture. If you go in Islamabad, ISKCON Islamabad is there in Pakistan. Their God Nita deities are there, and they are wearing Muslim dress. So you wonder, my God, what is this? Because the people there, their mindset is more like because that's what they see all around, right? But of course, it's better, like it's opulent, But and they may be offering like even here in America, like at least in some of the temples I observed, they don't offer much of Indian bhoga. They're more like offering yeah, pizza, pasta. In India, they say narak ka rasta, pizza, pasta. And of course, they are doing what best like normal life is for them, culturally. Even the way they make the temple or structures, so that's okay because they're doing it with love and devotion, and it doesn't contain non-veg. So then it's all right. So Prabhupada gave that freedom. Now Prabhupada was great actually. He even established Gaur Nita duties. This was a new thing. Even his spiritual master established Gaur Gadadhar, which is Radha Krishna. But Prabhupada saw that the Western devotees, Western people, how will they, do it? Like Gaur Gadadhar means offenses will be there. But Nityanand is the most merciful personality, most merciful guy. He could deliver Jagai Madai. So Prabhupada's logic was, these are all Jagai Madai's descendants. So Nityanand Prabhu will do good, made for each other. And another deities Prabhupada frequently installed in the West was Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. Because Prabhupada said that the worship of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra is very easy. Jagannath does not take offense. It's like really easy, even the clothes and anything. And another thing, Prabhupada felt that Jagannath is the most merciful, like big eyes and compassion. And he's willing to go out in Rath Yatra. And these Western people, they like fun, adventure, and something should be happening, right? So hippies in those days, so okay, make the Rath and carry. So Prabhupada was giving essentially the same thing, but with maturity and realization. to make it suitable, relevant, appealing, and practical for the people whom he was dealing with.
Was it
But Prabhupada drew a line. Prabhupada said for next 10,000 years, nobody should change the 16 notes.
oh.
I brought from 64 to 16. So Saraswati Thakur would give range 4 to 64. He would give like businessman grahasthas 4 rounds a day, initiation, yeah. And he would give brahmacharis 64 rounds a day. Wow. And he would give like, so his was a range actually.
Oh.
Nobody could figure out a pattern. But he gave according to the person, it seems. But Prabhupada knew that, Kali Yuga souls, today you give them some relaxation or room for range. They will go for lowest one, by default. Or tomorrow they may say, I will change this also. Let me extend the range. You know. So, and you can see the other three sampradayas, like Sri Sampradaya. The only time they chant the holy name of the Lord is the time of initiation. Because there is no counting given, Prabhu. There is no accountability given. Prabhu, now you chant for the rest of the. So they say you chant as many as you can. He hardly chants once or twice a day. And I was born in another sampradaya. No? So Vishnu. So there's a bona fide sampradaya. But again, same problem. There is there's no clarity in the instructions from a practical viewpoint. So we also used to in our childhood, they taught us also to do mala, like beat bag and all. No? They had like this L shaped. And we can Shri Krishna Sharanam, that is the Mahamantra we chant. Everything is authentic, but there's no commitment. It's like I love you, but I'm not marrying you. So legally, I'm never bound to take care of you or to be committed to you. So it's good, appreciate, but I mean, this is the best what Prabhupada gave actually. Prabhupada made it crystal clear. No room for confusion and ambiguity. Now, are the other guys following other sampradayas not going to achieve success? No, it's not like that. They will. The principle is yasya prasada bhagavad prasad. You please your spiritual master. So what they are taught by their acharya, what we are taught by our acharya, we should follow that and be loyal to it. And that will please Krishna. When Krishna is pleased, he will revive our access. And for Krishna is just but we have to convince him that I really want. And when how would we convince him? I'm willing to go through any tough process. But I want to convince you, Krishna, that I want it back. I was the one who left it. I am the one who's like, honestly, I have that intensity. I want it back. Krishna, I'm really looking forward. But I'm not just joking. I'm serious about it this time. Because previously, whenever Krishna tried to give back the love, revive back the access, we left it millions of lifetimes. So now to convince Krishna, it's like, you promise someone, let's meet at 10 a.m. at that place. And you don't turn up. Again, next day you promise, sorry, again I'll come. Again, you don't turn up. So if you do it like hundreds of times, we have done millions of times with Krishna. Now you're telling Krishna, Krishna, let's meet today. Krishna is like, oh, I'm not sure. And then he said, no, you tell me what should I do to convince you? Krishna says, okay, every day you tell me, by in the form of 16 rounds. And that I cannot do. Then Krishna understands, you are not serious. So you just follow the process. It's not our endeavor, Prabhu. It's our submission to Acharya, who's representing Krishna, which pleases Krishna to like revive our access, which convinces Krishna. Just like, how do you know when you make the offering? How do you know it's prasad? With confidence you give, right? Prasad. How do you know Krishna accepted your offering? You're that pure? No. We should be convinced Krishna will not accept, especially when I am offering. But the idea is we can be 100% confident, 100% that Krishna is accepting it. It is prasad. How? Because I am following the Acharya. If I am following the Acharya with faith, Acharya told, put the plate here, put tulasi, do achman, and chant these prayers, these mantras in front of the deities, and Krishna will accept. In Hindi वैसे है कृष्ण का बाप भी नहीं रोक सकता अभी मतलब Krishna loves his pure devotees so much because his pure devotee has said Krishna will accept even though Krishna may consider us a rascal. That is the power of blessings, mercy. So if we follow with faith, with simplicity in our heart, and that because the Acharya is pleased, so Krishna approves. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So and then just because it's related to
Yeah, I think we'll start tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. But you say.
Um, I when I read it, I got bewildered a little, like in terms of what carbon media they was like they were traveling, as you said, and they went to Mount Meru, they were
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
So is this why? So this the reason why carbon media engaged in this is it because his wife wanted it?
Kardama Muni, you meant.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because his wife wanted it, and also he knew that the Lord has some plan, like which was later revealed, like as
Yeah.
Kapila did. And he also felt that he was obliged to fulfill the desires of his wife. See, he was not at that level. He was quite elevated. He didn't need all that.
But why was he? I heard in the beginning that he was.
But it was his duty as a husband also, because if the husband, like it is said in Manu Samhita, if the husband and wife are not spending time with each other, especially in their initial years after marriage, then the husband will look for simple activity outside the marriage. So the wife must be little attracted to the husband, decorate herself, cook nice things, and the husband also should be. See, unless we have complete attachment to Krishna, it is better to have some material attachments within dharma, within the boundary of dharma. That means to do business, properly without cheating others is not simple activity. If a person is a grahastha, he must do something. Similarly, if a person is a husband or wife, they must have kids because that is dharma. See, if you do not engage, like you said, empty mind is a devil's workshop. So what Krishna has given is, okay, if you cannot love me 24 hours all the time, I am giving you a set of dharma, like rules, rules within the material world. And that will not incur any sinful reaction. Rather, you will get punya. Just like he told Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya. So if you fight, you will get punya. Of course, Arjuna chose to fight out of love for Krishna. So he got bhakti. But a general person, when he does his duty, he gets punya. Like say, for example, I'm a student. Let's say I'm a undergrad student or a student in high school or something. So if I do my studies, my academics well, if I attend the classes and if I don't cheat around and all, then I'll be very satisfied. I feel enthusiastic just by doing my stuff. Whereas if I'm a student in a school, in a college, and I am bunking classes, I'm just not doing my stuff. I don't feel good in my mind. That is papa. That is sin. Because as a student, my duty was to study. Okay. Just like, let's say I'm doing a job, like Prabhu is doing that fruit job. Yeah, I always remember fruits when I see agriculture. Fresh fruits. Proper rice, fresh fruits, so many places. No? So he's doing a job. Now he's drawing a salary. Whatever salary he and his employer agreed upon. Now let's say he's taking that salary. Like let's say you're working in an IT company and there is a very long-term project. That's 3 years project. And let's say I plan upon befooling my manager and the entire team. For 2 years, I'm making a drama. I'm doing something. I'm kind of showing some submissions and all. But actually, I'm not working. I'm just whiling away with the time. But I'm drawing the salary. Now that salary is sin because their part of bargain was we'll give you the salary, and my part of bargain was I'll do work for you. They're doing their part. I'm cheating. So it will become a sin. Of course, it's not like you have to do like loads of work. That is also foolishness. There is a range. It's a matter of responsibility. But the idea is that we have to be genuine. Like, I forgot where we began from, why we came to this discussion.
Well, I asked a question about carbon media. Why?
Yeah, yeah. So I was saying, as a husband, he was obliged to fulfill the material desires also of his wife within the dharmic range of family, like being a couple. Otherwise, the wife will look for the same from an outside source. And then the husband also will be blamed by the law of karma.
But did he meditate initially to get a wife?
Yeah, he just had this desire in his heart, and the 21st chapter of Bhagavatam explains that Krishna understood his heart. He wants a wife. He didn't even pray or express or spell out anywhere, but because he was a devotee. So Krishna said, "Arey, koi baat nahi. It's just a wife. Huh? I'll supply. I'll supply the best of wives to you. Don't worry." Yeah, but it is explained very explicitly explained that there was a small material desire in his heart, and Krishna was not against it. Krishna was happy to fulfill it. So we should not condemn ourselves too much, Why do I have material desire? See, as long as your material desire is in gray zone, which means it can be dovetailed towards Krishna. Don't worry.
Is it
Be happy.
Is it material desire from the soul or from the mind, and you just read
Soul doesn't have any material desire. It's from the mind.
soul?
Soul is pure. So soul is right now covered over with anarthas. Soul doesn't have any material desire. So in spiritual world also we have mind, but super soul does not accompany us because that mind is pure mind. And that only gives Krishna conscious desires. But super soul accompanies us here because he's concerned. Like, see, if you keep some lot of jewelry and millions of dollars stuff here, you'll have to keep a security guard, right? You know? Why? Because this is a very insecure environment. But let's say you're in Mayapur and that city suffers only. Of course, Mayapur is also not like that secure, but I'm just taking an example, right? So you may not keep a guard in outside every room or every apartment, right? You may just keep at the gate. So that is what is spiritual world. In spiritual world, Lord does not accompany every jiva, every devotee as super soul. Why? He's not concerned, na? They're all pure now. And they have a mind which is also pure.
So is it the same idea where we have a spiritual body which is eternal, and the soul is sitting,
Right.
and the spiritual body which is ideas, the mind which is
Yeah, so the difference in this body and that body is the soul is not sitting in the heart in that body. Soul itself is that body. To explain, like
so the soul can have the mind.
soul here, the soul which we have, or we are the soul, that is in seed form. It's like zip file, compressed file. But there it's like an unzip file. Yeah, this is explained in the Shastra, except the zip word. Yeah. So there it's like in the Shastra, what is given is bija form. Bija form is somebody else, yeah, made it like, you know, and there it's like that.
So the soul has the mind, and it comes.
Soul itself is like your face and everything is soul only there. There is no separate material form and then that is activated by the soul entering inside, nothing like that. That's soul. Its soul itself has all these features.
But you know how in the material world the mind generates ideas and we have to inject accept is the same thing there.
No, no, because your mind is pure there.
Self-same.
Then what is given in the Shastra is chitta. Chitta. Chitta is pure there, Shuddha Chitta. I have a friend called Shuddha Chitta Das. The Brahmachari Pune. So there we have Shuddha Chitta. Purified, totally purified Chitta. Because there also you have intelligence, ego, and mind. So Chitta means these three.
So there's no way to think about this because we're compressed right now. There's no way to understand it.
So see, you might try your best while you are in second grade, but you won't understand calculus, right? You need to step up your. There is a prerequisite needed for that. So the prerequisite in spiritual life is purity. So we are in the process. You don't have to see. Don't try to run in a running train. Train is already running. How far can you go by running in the train? Which means just follow the process of bhakti yoga patiently yet enthusiastically in the association of devotees. And it is that surge of wave, the association of devotees, that carries us forward. Our contribution of endeavor part is that we are willing to remain inside the train, will not step out. So we practice, but in association, and that's what carries us ahead. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some patience, some patience. So in Kali Yuga, we're used to every app. Press it and immediately it happens. When in our times, when we got at least what we got in India and when we were teenagers. Press it and then patiently wait for a few minutes. It might happen, but we were used to that, And now it's like, what is she doing? Today's generation is very impatient. Prabhu writes about this. The girl gets married. I want a child now. Wait. Husband will be first pleased with you with your service, and then you may unite, and then after 9 months you may get a baby. But we want it like right now.
Sorry, my last question is, so Sankhya philosophy is the same as Bhakti Yoga, but the difference is described in an analytical pattern.
Right. The foundation, the first steps are the analysis. It's like analyzing the kheer, the sweet rice. See, sweet rice is very nice, but if you analyze it and break it down in terms of its constitutional elements, like raw rice, then raw sugar, or even let's go to sugar cane, you know, and then water and maybe some nuts or something. You may not be so attracted, at least not as attracted as you were to the final product. Okay. So you may probably, or let's say sabji or something, you will probably not be attracted at all. And they don't taste so good also. Like, can you eat turmeric powder on it? You will not be so. But the sabji, the combination is like that. The sweet rice combination is like that. So similarly, Sankhya Yoga, in very basic, in very fundamental way to describe it, layman's term, it's like analyze this material world, like woman's body. Analyze. So there's stool, urine, blood, and iron, calcium, whatever you want to. The more you analyze and you go down to the basic element, the more you'll be like, oh, hey, it's all right. Huh? I don't need no attraction. Then if you go to the material world also, like universe per se, there also if you go down to more you dig down into the basics, more you will not be attracted. Rather, so this is up till here. This analysis is the atheistic Sankhya Yoga.
Okay.
The Lord Kapila there gives, he adds theism to it. He says, then what were you attracted to? The person? That person is soul. And he's part and parcel of the super soul or the supreme God. So that is the 25th element. 24 elements are material, cross and settle. And 25th and 26th element, that is soul and super soul. So he says focus on them because that is real. These are temporary and illusory. But soul and super soul are real. And the love between them is real. So Sankhya Yoga, by scientific analysis, brings you to soul and super soul, the theistic Sankhya Yoga. And therefore, it is not different from Bhakti Yoga if you end up in that, if you conclude in that. But if you end up somewhere in middle only, it's like you're on the way to Vrindavan, but you decided to stop at some milestone saying Vrindavan 40 minutes. Then it is not Bhakti Yoga. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Simple, huh? Very layman term.
Yeah, it's
Layman
basically
terms. Yeah.
some people are inclined towards analytical. So
Yeah. Use all your intellect to conclude what is already concluded. Yeah. Correct. Thank you so much for all of your answers. Just those questions are always so nice, actually. Very sincere question. No, really. Very sincere. No. You are an eager soul. Hare Krishna.
Should we take it now?
Yeah, I'm just worried about all of your time. I have come for question answer only. Maybe during Prasad.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Prabhu and Sushil for your association. Hare Krishna.